Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, this is 3 Buck Theater, and Alien Covenant came out this year, not with a bang, but with a pretty big ass whimper. It took me a few watches of Prometheus to appreciate it a lot more. When I first saw it, I was none too pleased with what I saw. I mean, sure, the cinematography was, yeah, it was great. The acting was good, but the plot was pretty bad, and the characters did dumb stuff. I mean, it's a horror movie, so you kind of expect it. But it's Ridley Scott, so also you're like, come on, man. Because Ridley is very much a hit-or-miss filmmaker. And, you know, after The Martian was good, and I mean, I would go as far as to say, like, pretty damn great, actually. You would think that him having learned his lesson from Prometheus, having done The Martian, he'll go in and he'll do Alien Covenant, and it will be swell. It will just be swell. Yeah, then we got Alien Covenant, and it was yeah. And then of course, you know, he says later on in interviews that, well, he's kind of ready to walk away from the idea of xenomorphs being the core idea of the Alien franchise. He wants to move more into the stories about David, the AI, and what kind of shenanigans he's going to get into. Here's the thing. Nobody wanted that, right? Alien is a good franchise for horror. That's where its elements are, not what some AI or some synth is going to do. No one really wants that. If it's a way to facilitate to get us more xenomorphs, then we're cool, right? Like the neomorphs in Covenant were pretty cool. Those kind of made sense considering how it all came to be. But when he actually gets the xenomorph out of Damien Bashir's chest and then does the little puppet master thing, and the xenomorph freaking responds, I was like, what am I watching here? Like, what is this nonsense? And as a result of that, the audiences around the world felt very much the same way. And so when it was talked about the idea of the next Alien movie, I think it was titled Alien Awakenings or something like that, or that was, I guess, the working title originally, no one was happy. And so now we're getting a report out of ABP Galaxy that Fox might have actually just pulled the plug on it. And this is actually what they say. The sequel to Covenant was originally due to start pre-production this month in Sydney. After the box office results, filming was canceled and a warehouse storage unit full of stuff was auctioned off a few months ago. So the original plan of pumping out another quickly has definitely changed with no immediate plans for anything. Now that's an interesting statement. Now granted, keep in mind, this is entirely speculatory. You know, but given everything that's gone on, it kind of does make some sense, right? That you would look at what's gone on in Alien Covenant, what happened in Prometheus, and you look at the direction that Ridley Scott was taking this new franchise, if you will, and you're like, yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know about this one anymore, because ultimately it's hard. It's hard to get back on board with it, looking at what he's done. Now, here's the thing. We know when it comes to the Alien franchise, this new one, whatever he's doing, Ridley Scott wants it to be his Star Wars. He wants it to be his Avatar. He wants it to be his legacy franchise. He wants this thing to be so big that you could actually get a theme ride at Disney parks with it. You know what I mean? And now that Disney's purchasing Fox, yeah, it could happen one day. Probably not, but it could happen one day. So essentially, he kind of screwed the pooch because he missed the mark. People really liked the idea of Neill Blomkamp's Alien 5. The downside to that concept was that it was just a concept without ever having a script or going past the simple discussion phase, because Chappie tanked at the box office. That's quite literally what happened. It was all of the pre-marketing for Chappie was all about Alien 5, which really screwed Chappie in the box office. When Chappie failed, people didn't want to touch Blomkamp. Why do you think he's back doing short films, which by the way are awesome, so good. You know, so give this dude a good script and he can make a good movie, which is why I still think he should come on to do Alien 5 with Fox before it goes to Disney. Get him in there, get this thing out, because that's going to be the thing. That's the other part of this too. So that's, again, looking at the future of the Alien franchise. What's going to happen now? Well, I would argue before the sale is finalized, they're going to push one more movie through production. And I think that's going to be a connection between Alien Covenant and Alien, right? Because ultimately, people don't really want more of that story. They'd like to bring in Ripley because Ripley is badass. But at the same time, what they want is they want more aliens from James Cameron. They want more Space Marines battling xenomorphs. They want that kind of thing. Now, the only other thing I could think of would be that if there is a success with Shane Black's The Predator this year, AVP, a reboot of AVP might be a thing. That's a far off thought. Probably not going to happen. Especially giving so close to the buyout from Disney. I don't know what Disney's going to do, but I have a feeling they're not going to want to go back into that world. But at the same time, Alien Covenant 2, Alien Awakenings, whatever you want to call it, being canceled, is for the best. I would rather the story of David, and the Covenant be left ambiguous, because ultimately I feel ambiguity is better than the story Ridley Scott was going to tell us. Because for every Martian we get, or All the Money in the World, which apparently even with the reshoots with Christopher Plummer is a fantastic movie, we get things like Prometheus and The Counselor and Alien Covenant. And it just goes to show you that even though Ridley Scott is 80 years old and not showing any sign of slowing down, and clearly his talents are not here. And no matter how hard he tries to make this his thing, no matter how hard he tries to make this whatever it is going to be next, it's just not going to get there. And unfortunately, no one's going to stop him except for, well, the House of Mouse, because once they get involved, yeah, Ridley Scott is going to be probably end up going to a different production company who won't be as lenient as Fox has been. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. I'm curious to know what everyone's thinking here, so be sure to comment, subscribe, because I post new content all the time, and I hope you guys like. And be sure to thumbs up the video and check back often for more new stuff from me. In fact, if you want to see more videos, you can do so right now.